Alright, what is up everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in everybody. Welcome in Kevin. Thank you for joining again, man. 3 a.m. Much love to you. I hope you definitely get something out of this stream. And we are going to be kind of discussing some of the altcoins today, guys. A lot of altcoin opportunities might be coming in the next month or so. Doesn't mean we won't see pullbacks relatively soon here, but I do think altcoins are going to continue to pop off, and I also do think Bitcoin is going to continue to make new all-time highs. Right now, it's continuing its range here, but we can go through some of the altcoins today, go through some of the altcoin opportunities. So if you guys have any requests, post them in the chat, and we can get started with everything. So first off, is the music okay? And can you guys hear me okay? Is everything looking good as far as that goes? And welcome in here. Let me grab a drink of water real quick before we get started. All right. Welcome in everybody. Thank you for joining. Let me just check this. Okay, cool. We are clear. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, guys, so Bitcoin is just continuing its range. We will go through a lot of the altcoins here. We'll spend a majority of our times on this live stream going through the altcoins and going through some of the opportunities. But real quick, I just want to cover Bitcoin because Bitcoin has been relatively boring and it's just been ranging. And what I want to discuss overall with Bitcoin, let's go ahead and zoom out onto the 4-hour chart. And I do still think we are in this impulse, this double 1-2 impulse to the upside. So overall, I do expect Bitcoin to continue up to make new all-time highs. But if we're looking at Bitcoin, yes, we've been in a range for a couple weeks now, which is kind of expected hitting into that 1.618 Fibonacci extinction target. But if we look at from our 98.2K lows, we have a 1-2, 1-2, and then we started our big third wave here. Now, your third wave, the most common target to in that third wave is your 1.618 Fibonacci extinction. After that third wave happens, generally you see a fourth wave that is longer than your second wave, which this was our second wave here, our first second wave, and generally longer, a little bit more shallow, a little bit more sideways ranging than your second wave before making another fifth wave to the upside, taking out the highs of 3, and then possibly even seeing one more 4 and one more 5. Not possibly. If you have a double 1-2, you should be expecting a double 4-5 up here. So overall, I am still expecting Bitcoin to continue to push to the upside, to continue to push up to new all-time highs. But in this fourth wave correction that we're going through right now, this price action definitely does look more corrective than an impulse to the downside. And that is a good sign to tell us that this impulse is not completed yet, and we do have more upside to come on Bitcoin. But relatively locally here within this fourth wave correction, we've just been ranging sideways, and we've been ranging sideways for a couple weeks now, just rotating like I discussed in my YouTube video yesterday, coming to the value area low, bouncing from value area low, coming up to value area high, bouncing from value area, rejecting from value area high, coming down to value area low, again bouncing, and then coming up this morning to value area high, rejecting, once again coming back down to value area low, bouncing from value area low, and now just very, very recently, we're trying to break above the value area high of the range and break above our key Fibonacci trend line of support on high time frame trend line. But we do need to watch here for a potential swing failure pattern of the highs from Monday, yesterday. And we look like it might be happening right now. If we do start to close, let's actually zoom in here. Let's go on to the 12-minute chart. If we do start to close 12-minute candles back underneath this high, we could expect that we're going to continue to rotate in this range. And once again, guys, at the bottom of the range around that 15.6 to 15.2K area, I do still think it is possible to come down and take out these range lows here. And we do have our larger pitchfork midline of support coming into those lows. And we have not back tested that pitchfork midline since we have broken above it with that volume imbalance candle. So it is very common to form ranges above these major levels of support. When you break them and you stall out, you generally form a range and oftentimes come back and back test that before continuing that push up. So it is possible that Bitcoin does not come take out those lows. I mean, we just have some reluctance to come out and take out those lows. But if we do start to break above our highs from last Thursday, and we start to close even 15-minute candles above those highs, I think this correction could be done, and we could be starting to push up to new highs. Now, it's not the most likely scenario. I do think that the most likely scenario is to come down to take out these lows at 15.7. But, Bitcoin is here to surprise us sometimes, and it's being very, very reluctant to come down and take out those lows. So we will just have to play the range until it breaks. And we are in this range. So anytime you are near the highs of the range or seeing liquidity grabs, key liquidity grabs, you can look for short opportunities. And anytime, yesterday we saw a key liquidity grab of the weekend lows, came down, grabbed the liquidity of the weekend lows, and now we're pushing up. So these are good local scalp trade opportunities. But if you're going to play these trades on Bitcoin in this range, play them as scalp trades. So, if you longed the SFP here, your stop would have gone below that low, and really I would have just been targeting the highs of the range. That would have been my scalp trade. Now, if you want, you could leave 20% open just in case it continues to run to the upside. But if you're playing the scalp range, don't get too greedy and not take profit. When you get up to your resistances, you definitely want to take some profit, lock in that profit, and move on to the next possibility there. Leave a little bit open just in case, but mostly move on to the next possibility. So Bitcoin just continuing to range. If we do close today's daily candle, let me clean up this chart now. If we do close today's daily candle above this Fibonacci trendline channel, I think that we might continue pushing up and breaking up to new all-time highs. But you can see, you know, this channel is a pretty big, important channel of a Fibonacci channel that has really been respected this entire bull market. So we're at a key area. We do expect to kind of have some chop around this area of resistance, just like last time when we came up into this area of resistance. We chopped for a little bit around this area before seeing the bigger move down. So it's either going to be a chop around this area before that continuation up, or a chop around this area and this impulse is going to fail and we're really going to start to break down here. But I do think the highest probability is for us to continue up. On the daily time frame, you can see here, market cipher B, the momentum wave is starting to try to curve over here, and our money flow even is starting to round off here and look like it wants to come to the upside again. But on NAMI, and NAMI generally is a little bit quicker with the money flow, you can see money flow is now rising to the upside again, and we did print that green dot on a bottomed out momentum wave yesterday here on NAMI. So overall, I do think highest probability is for Bitcoin to continue pushing up. Now, as Bitcoin is ranging, oftentimes when Bitcoin pumps up to these new all-time highs, sentiment is very bullish on Bitcoin, and we see dominance starting to dump to the downside really, really harshly. And I talked about this in yesterday's video, by the way, guys. So in yesterday's YouTube video, I talked about how we had lost our prior lows. We came back and back tested those lows bearishly multiple times, and we failed to reclaim those lows, so we dumped back down, breaking below our channel. Now, this channel is a very, very important channel. If I zoom out onto the 2-day chart, you can see that this has been the trend for Bitcoin really since March of 2023 for almost the entire bull market. Dominance has been pushing to the upside in this ascending channel, with just one deviation here in December when altcoins really saw a pump. And it's possible that we do see another deviation. Bitcoin gets back in this channel, and we do, Bitcoin starts to pump against the altcoins again. But overall, I do think altcoin season, or at least a mini altcoin season opportunity is here. And in yesterday's video, I did talk about how if we do, since we were breaking this channel to the downside, if we do come up, bounce from local support, because we were at local support right underneath our lows here, if we were to bounce from local support, come back up to this channel and reject on the bearish backtest, then we will see dominance drop a lot more. So we're in the process right now of the backtest of this channel, and it's going to be very, very important. You can see earlier this morning, late last night, it depends on where you're at in the world, we did try to get back within that channel, and we did kind of fail. We pushed up above it, but we couldn't close the 4-hour candle above that. And it looks like we're starting to roll over on dominance. Money flow is leaving on dominance again here on market cipher B on the 4-hour chart. And if dominance does reject here, I do expect altcoins to really see another leg to the upside, and for Bitcoin to either continue to range or to dump a little bit down to that 15.7 to 15.2 level of support, where hopefully it would hold that level and then continue pushing up after that. But yeah, so everything looks pretty good here as far as dominance. You know, I do think there's a big possibility this does reject here and that altcoins continue to pump. And we know how the crypto cycle works. First, Bitcoin does get all the attention. Bitcoin pumps, generally comes up to new all-time highs or pumps up to new levels, like a huge pump, 20-30% pump. And then the money starts to rotate out of Bitcoin and into the high cap altcoins, specifically Ethereum first. And then Ethereum starts to have hit its parabolic rally. Well, that happened kind of the last couple of weeks. You can see how much Ethereum is pumped in the past couple of weeks here, really pushing up and breaking some key levels of resistance, that log golden pocket and the value area high of our 4-year range and our 1.5 long year range. And so now we are seeing Ethereum start to cool off a little bit. I still do think Ethereum has a lot of momentum left, potentially to come up to 4,500. But we are also seeing a lot of the other high cap altcoins really starting to pump. Solana breaking its key level of resistance and trying to maintain above that. XRP breaking up to new all-time highs, at a very key resistance as we speak here. And just a lot of the coins are really starting to see these parabolic rallies. Chainlink, or not Chainlink, AVAX breaking up to some very key levels right now at some resistance. And we are just seeing the money starting to flow into the altcoins. And this is going to give us opportunity to trade these altcoins. As day traders, we can take advantage of these pumps that last just weeks or so. And as a spot trader, you know, you might FOMO in a little bit late, get stuck at the top. But as a scalper, we can, the trend is your friend, and we can play this trend, we can ride this trend, and we could take advantage of this over the next few weeks to few months and really make a lot of money on our portfolios by finding these trades. And so that's specifically what I want to focus on today, is just going through some of the altcoins and going through the levels of interest that we should be looking at trades for, and really looking to execute trades. Even if we do find a live trade while the live stream is open, I will do it. But I'm not going to force a trade that is using improper risk management just because we're live. We do not, if you want to be a long-term trader, you do not want to do that. So welcome in, everybody. Thank you guys for joining. And let's go ahead and get started here. So let's see, what was the first coin? So we got SUI, we got XRP. Kevin, do I see bearish divergence? Do you see the bearish divergence on low time frame to 1 hour for Bitcoin for the SFP? Okay, let's check that out, because I was interested in a potential SFP, but it doesn't look like it might be happening. Let's go on to the 6-minute chart here. All right, and we're going to be looking really specifically at these highs here, or even those, this high here. So it looks like we might be about to see an SFP. So we've wicked up past the level of interest, hit into our Fibonacci channel resistance, and now we're starting to drop. So if we start to close candles below this level, we can look for a short trade opportunity. And what we would be doing is entering our short trade in this general area. Our wick would obviously go above the highs, and for me, I would be targeting really the value area low, or even the liquidity grab that from earlier today down there, and then really 15.7 would be my next level of interest. So that is a 4-to-1 risk reward ratio, and that is a good scalp trade to be looking at. Now, of course, we do have to be aware that we could bounce from the point of control, just like we did here, bounce, you know, drop to the point of control, bounce from point of control. And just like we did here yesterday, after we took the lows, took the liquidity of the lows, we came up to the point of control, rejected that point of control, but overall held within inside the volume profile and pumped to the top. So there's always a chance that the full short trade position doesn't play out. But yeah, it looks like we are starting to close candles below that. And you know what? If you guys want to enter this trade now, I think I might take a look at entering this trade. Let's just do this. So your stop loss is going to be about 0.68%. So you're going to want to take 1% of your portfolio, whatever that is. Say it's a $1,000 portfolio. That's going to be a $10 stop loss. And you're going to take $10 and you're going to divide it by 0.0068%. And that'll give you your position size, and you can enter that there. So give me just a second, guys. Yeah, in this case, you would be able to use about a $1,470 position. And if you get stopped out, you'll only lose that $10. That's if you have a $1,000 account. Now, I'm not trading with that specific amount of money. So you'd have to calculate your 1% of your portfolio yourselves, and then calculate that risk management yourself. But this is a decent scalp opportunity here. We are seeing some bear divs on the chart, you know, higher highs in the price action here, lower highs in the momentum waves. Is that a lower high? Yeah, lower highs in the momentum waves, and your money flow is consistently draining out of the asset here on the 6-minute chart. And for me, this is somewhat of a confirmation to enter a scalp short trade here. Let's check out the 15-minute chart real quick. Yeah, 15-minute. Now, this is a bit concerning for me, how bullish the money flow looks. This money flow here will always overpower a single drive of bear divs. But we are getting the confirmed swing failure pattern. So with swing failure patterns, if you confirm starting closing candles below that level, then you can look to enter that trade, even if you're not seeing the best confirmations on your indicators, on your momentum indicators. Now, here's the thing, guys. We're about to bounce. We're about to backtest this value area high. And if we come down here and we bounce from here and start to reclaim these highs again, then the SFP might not play out. So for me personally right now, I'm going to be a little bit patient. And if we break down below this value area high, then I will have to enter. Now I will have to adjust my position size because my stop loss is going to be a little bit bigger. So you're going to have to use a little bit smaller of a position size. But I would rather take a little bit smaller of a win and be more secure and confident that the trade is going to play out rather than enter right now and we see a bounce from this value area high and continue to push up here. And the reason why I'm being a little hesitant now is because when we do look at the money flow on that 15-minute chart, it does look pretty bullish. So let's look at the 24. Yeah, 24 money flow looks pretty bullish as well. 24-minute. We are seeing the bear divs on these time frames, but the money flow is always going to overpower those bear divs. Also, we did just print a hidden bull div a couple hours ago on NAMI here. So what I'm going to do here, just to let you guys know kind of how my thought process of walking through these trades, we have now confirmed the swing failure pattern by breaking above the high, wicking above it, grabbing liquidity, and now starting to close candles down below it. But because we are breaking the range value area high, there is a potential that we're just going to see a quick SFP, break down below, bounce from this value area high, and continue the trend to the upside. So for me, in order to really secure a short position here, I would want to see us start breaking down below this value area high, which is going to be about 19,440, at least on Coinbase. That's where the value area high is. And you can see right now, this is why I'm a little bit hesitant, because you can see we're coming down to that value area high right now. Let me just hide this real quick. We're coming down to that value area high, and we're seeing a little bounce here. So I just want to make sure, because now if we bounce from this value area high and start to reclaim these highs at 119,745, then the SFP is most likely not going to play out the way we want to see it play out, and we might continue pushing to the upside here. But Kevin, you're looking at the right things, man. You're looking at the right things, trading the range, trading liquidity grabs of the range with bearish divergence. That is absolutely a valid trade entry to be looking at. Yes, please smash the like button, guys. If you get anything out of this video, please smash the like button. Share it with any friends or family that you think might find interested in this kind of streaming and trading. And we will look at some of the altcoins. We'll look at SUI, we'll look at XRP, metal, let's see, XPR, and we can look at XPR as well. Metal, okay, we'll look, yeah, we'll try to get to as much as possible here, guys. I just, for a couple minutes here, I want to watch the Bitcoin chart to see if we get a valid short trade opportunity here. R Pink, welcome in, man. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for modding for me. I appreciate that. And ZMX, welcome in. Yes, I am in an ETH trade. I did post this ETH trade earlier today in my Telegram group, but ETH is bouncing. So ETH, let me just zoom out here a bit. ETH is bouncing from the bullish backtest of the top of our pitchfork. And let me just zoom out a bit more here on the 6 hour, and I'm gonna hide these ranges for just a second so you guys can see a little bit better. But you know, Ethereum, you know, we were chopping above the midline for a couple months, saw that breakdown, but bounced from our support level, was able to reclaim that midline, and we pushed up to the top band of the pitchfork. Now you can see we've broken above the top band of the pitchfork, and today we're coming back down to back test that band. And upon the back test of that band, I actually entered on this candle here. I'll show you, we'll zoom in and I'll show you, but first I just want to explain the thought process behind this. Because we're breaking our pitchfork band of resistance and now trying to flip it into support, we do know that based off the larger time frames, Ethereum might be in a third wave continuing all the way up to 45.35. So based off of that, I'm going to be looking to add or enter a scalp long opportunity to continue that momentum in the third wave up to 45.35. So yes, I have entered a trade. Zooming in on the 12-minute chart, earlier today we did see that drop down below the band here, and then we pushed up. We did reject it from the VWAP, but when we came back down to it again, I entered right when we hit the band, knowing that we might hold it with my stop down below this low here. So very, very low risk for me, very low risk trade. Now, I think I didn't even use a whole 1% of my portfolio. I only used about 0.9% just because there is a possibility we continue breaking down to the lower part of the band. I talked about that in yesterday's video. But I'm looking at least to take it up to this daily. We did kind of front run this daily at 39.87. And so that would be TP1 for the trade. And then TP2, I would just leave it running all the way up to that 45.35 level. But with our larger bias on Ethereum being bullish and expecting to continue this impulse that we're seeing, you know, that we have a nice 5-wave impulse here to the upside. And if we look at, you know, our Elliott wave impulse from the lows, we have our wave 1 here, our wave 2 to the downside. Our wave 3 generally pushes to the 1.618. You can see that 1.618 is also in perfect confluence with the top of the pitchfork band. Then your wave 4 generally lasts longer than your wave 2, and it's generally a little bit more shallow. We could get a wave 4 push down to back test that band on a higher time frame, and then a break up in a wave 5 to complete your 5-wave impulse on the daily time frame. But overall, expecting this third wave to continue up to 45.35. And so if we do flip a big high time frame resistance, being this upper band, and on lower time frames come back and back tested the support and it holds, then I do expect the momentum to continue. Polygon ENA. Okay, looks like we have a lot of coins to cover, guys. I will get through as many of these as I can, and because we're gonna have so many coins to look at, if you really want to get your coin covered, if you do a super chat, please, I'll make sure I cover that. If you do super chat, no obligation at all to super chat. I will try to get to everyone with everybody equally, whether you super chat or not. But of course, I'm going to give priority to super chats. And also, if you do request an altcoin, please just one coin per request so that I can get to everyone, be fair with everyone here. Okay, so let's check Bitcoin real quick to see if this short trade is going to play out. Yeah, it looks like, okay, if we start to close down below that, I think I might go ahead and try to enter this here. So it's going to be about, you know, about an 0.8% stop loss. You know, your risk, it's only a 2.78, or really, if you're going to take out these lows, a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. But to me, that is good enough to be looking at that. And it's worth a scalp position. Now, if we do start to bounce from the point of control, I might just pull out 25% of it to cover my fees or my stop loss if I get stopped out after bouncing from POC. But we have not broken down below this value area high yet, so I have not entered. I want to see a breakdown below this value area high. And until that happens, I'm going to be patient here. In the meantime, let's go ahead and we'll first go through SUI, and then we'll go through XRP. So I'm going to try to go in order here. But on the 2-hour chart, let's zoom in onto the 2-hour chart. So if you guys have been paying attention to my overall bias on SUI, I am expecting more upside to come up to that 441 to 445 at the very minimum, but most likely a lot higher than that. And SUI is breaking out of that bigger daily descending channel. After seeing a 5-wave impulse to the upside here, we have completed our correction down to a higher low, being the golden pocket in confluence with our midline. Let's zoom out to the daily real quick just so I can show you guys that. I know a lot of this is review for you guys, but 5-wave daily impulse to the upside completed. Then after and if this could be a larger wave 1. Now after that completes, you're looking for a 3-wave corrective move down to the golden pocket. Well, that golden pocket was right at our descending channel midline, and you can see we bounced from that area. And since we bounced from that area, we're starting some more impulsive price action, a multiple 1-2 here, or a double 1-2 pushing up. So I do expect, like, this could be a 4, and then we could do a 5 here, and then a 4-5 continuing to break up. But we're breaking out of the descending channel. So right there, that's a sign of strength. We're breaking out of our multi-month trend, kind of sideways and down trend. And you can see on the daily time frame what happened. We broke back down to bullishly backtest that on the daily, and we're holding so far, and we're starting to see multiple daily green candles pushing to the upside. Now, because we are a little bit overextended on lower time frames, we could see a couple backtests here before continuing up. We could form a smaller descending channel here, almost like a bull flag type of thing, before continuing to break up. So we want to be a little bit patient here. And there is a possibility, I talked about this at 347, we could even come down to 347, where we do have the 0.5 in confluence with our point of control. I showed that in yesterday's video. But overall, we're holding above the channel breakout, the breakout of the channel, and we're starting to form a range above the breakout. So just like any coin, you could look at scalp trades, play the range until it breaks, find your relevant price action. So far, this is our relevant price action of the range. We have our sideways range here, which is pretty much all the price action breaking above our descending channel. Now, anytime you come up near the value area high, you could look for short trades. Anytime you come now near the value area low or liquidity grabs, you can look for long trades. Speaking of liquidity grabs, I just want to check this out. Sorry, guys. I know. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. I'm going to throw it on my other screen. I'm going to throw the Bitcoin chart on my other screen, and I will pay attention to the Bitcoin short on my second screen here, and we'll go back to SUI here. Okay. So, overall, SUI, I'm expecting SUI to continue breaking up to new highs, but it's the question is this range done yet? Is this corrective range done yet? It might not be mature enough, and we might even need to come down and take out your lows at 365 before seeing that push up. So not 100% sure it's done, but we are maintaining strength, being above our descending channel breakout, and we're pretty much just ranging. And I do expect overall this push to continue, but you can even see here on the 1 hour chart, very locally yesterday, we made bear divs, higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves. Now your money flow was still rising pretty nicely then, but now we have created that lower high in price action, and money flow is consistently draining out here. So it does mean that we just might continue this range for a bit, or even see a rotation back down to the bottom of the range and grab liquidity of 365. And let's go to the 4 hour chart. 4 hour chart. Now this is what looks pretty good here. So I've talked about this a lot with you guys. The hidden bull div signals on NAMI are gold. Anytime you see a strong trend to the upside, which this has been a strong trend to the upside here, and NAMI prints that hidden bullish div signal, and you see your money flow starting to rise again on Market Cipher B with the momentum wave bottomed and a green dot here. Now, this tells me that SUI is at least going to continue the range, but overall, since our bias anyways is for higher to come up to 445, 441 to 445 with these signals, now I do feel more confidence to look for scalp long opportunities as well. Obviously, you're not going to scalp long where we're at here. The opportunity was this SFP of 381 earlier today, coming down and SFPing those lows from the weekend lows. Guys, I talk about this a lot, but anytime you see weekend lows or weekend highs, they often get taken out because a lot of the main traders do not trade on the weekends. So if you're seeing a weekend low, even if it's an internal low of a range like this Sunday low, we came down today, we grabbed the liquidity of those lows. The second you closed above that low with like a 5-minute candle, you could have longed that. And of course, just like with Bitcoin, we would have needed to watch for the rejection of the value area low, because then we could have continued down. But you could have longed that. And if you did start rejecting, you could have pulled out 50% and got stopped out. You would still pretty much break even or have a small win. And but we are breaking back within that volume profile. And so with the liquidity grab, that was a good sign. And now that we've grabbed the liquidity of our weekend lows, we might come up and continue pushing up here and take out Monday's highs, or, let's see, what this was a Thursday high. Okay, so, but overall, my bias is for continuation up. Bitcoin, guys, is still flirting around with that value area high. We're literally just sitting right on top of it right now. No candle closes below it. It is starting to look a little bit weak here, and we might have an opportunity to enter a scalp short trade. Okay, let me get back to my chat for a second here. So yeah, that's what I would say for SUI. Not a lot has changed on SUI for us. Trade this small range. If you're scalping it, trade the range until it breaks. If you're not, I would just be waiting. I'm already in a long position from way lower on SUI. And so I'm interested in coming up, taking profit between 441 and 445. And I'll leave some of it open to run. But the only trades that I'm looking at, interested in adding to my long position, is if we come down in SFP 365, I will look to add if and only if we swing fail pattern liquidity grab that low. And if that fails, then the next level I'll be looking at, like I described yesterday, was that point of control around 347. And that is also going to be in alignment with our 0.5 Fibonacci target. Let's see. Is that here? It's not that one. Well, your 1-to-1 was there now. Your 1-to-1 has changed just a little bit with the new high that we created yesterday. But yeah, it's also your ABC correction target in that general area, 347. So that is the area of interest that I would be looking to add to my long position as well. And because anytime you break above a point of control, you do have a high likelihood of continuing up to value area high. Now, we haven't really back tested this point of control since breaking above it, so there is a small possibility we see that 3-wave corrective move down to back test it, confirm it to support before coming up to the value area high. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to XRP. Okay, and let me double check Bitcoin real quick here. Yeah, Bitcoin's starting to push down below that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and attempt a scalp short right now. Okay. Give me just a second, guys. Sorry about this. Okay. All right. So on XRP here, we have a few things to be looking at as far as larger time frame analysis goes. And let me just get rid of this range here. And let's go ahead and zoom out onto the daily time frame. And if you guys listened to any of my live streams from last week, I explained why the bounce from this 0.382 at $1.62 was so important. But this bounce from this macro 382 retrace, Fibonacci retrace, was a really important indicator that XRP was in a corrective range before continuing to break up to new all-time highs. And so since that low, my bias has been that XRP will make new all-time highs. And you can see we were just trading this volume profile that we had been in for about 8 months. But after seeing an impulse from the $1.62 range up to the value area high of our 7-month range, and it was also the top of our descending channel, that impulse completed. Then we were expecting a correction down, and your most common area is that golden pocket, and we did hit into that golden pocket, guys. So if you look at just taking that Fibonacci pull here and you turn on the golden pocket, that is exactly where we corrected to, is the golden pocket right there. So we took the liquidity of these semi-equal lows down here into your golden pocket, and then we're starting to push up and break the channel with volume to the upside, and also break the point of control and your value area high. So this tells me that we are most likely in a 5-wave impulse to the upside from our 162 lows. This was our wave 1. This was our wave 2 retrace. Now your wave 3 most commonly pushes to the 1.618. Well, where are we stalling out? We're stalling out at the 1.618. And then your wave 4 generally retraces between the 382 and the 0.5. Well, we have a nice little daily level with a daily order block in there. And then your 5th wave, we can measure the targets of the 5th wave. Once this 4th wave is completed, we can look at that. But this is kind of what I'm expecting on XRP over the next coming weeks here. But let's talk about your wave 4 retrace here is generally longer than your wave 2 retrace. Now, so let's go ahead and look at how long this wave 2 retrace was. Let me get rid of this brush and get rid of this brush. This wave 2 retrace was about 41 days. And so we could expect possibly XRP to kind of range up in this area and maybe start to come down a little bit over the next month or 2 months before seeing our final push to the upside. Now, I will say this. The 1.618 is the most common target for the 3rd wave to end, but it is not required. I have seen many bullish altcoins push up to the 2 fib level, to the 2.618, to the 3.618. So there is a possibility that XRP does continue to run now, because we are really not rejecting so far yet, really, from this 1.618. We're starting to range a little bit, but we're not really seeing the rejection. Also, we are on the log scale chart. And if I come in here and I click on my trend-based Fibonacci extinction pull, and we go into our settings, you can see that I don't have it based off log scale now, but if I click based off log scale, our true 1.618 is actually at 426. So there's a potential that this third wave continues to run to 426, and then we see our wave 4 correction and then our wave 5. Now, that was a little bit too aggressive for me. So I was looking at the non-log scale 1.618. But the way that XRP looks right now, I would not be surprised at all if we pump up to 426 without seeing a major correction. And actually, if we do, I'm still long on XRP, and I will look to pretty much close out completely here, and then look to re-add when we get down into our 382 to 0.5 area. But it's the highest likelihood that if we do pump up to this area, then we are going to see somewhat of a correction. But for now, let's actually just change this back to our non-log scale. And let's look at XRP. So overall, higher time frame bias is to continue up on XRP. But that doesn't mean over the next month or so we could see a sideways and down correction. We are at our major resistance. We are finding and starting to range with bear divs. First of all, momentum wave topped out, but money flow looks pretty bullish here. On NAMI, we do have the bear divs on the daily. Lower highs on the momentum waves, higher highs on the price action, money flow draining out. Okay, now let's go ahead and zoom in on the 8-hour chart. Let's see what we see on the 8-hour chart. 8-hour chart, we do see, first of all, that money flow. Look at how bullish that money flow was. But we are seeing the bull divs here on the 8-hour chart. You can see higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves here. And your money flow is finally now starting to top out here. Also, NAMI, you can see multiple drives of bear div here on the 8-hour. We also have money flow bear divs on the 8-hour. Okay. Couple checks there for intermediate and high time frame bearish confirmation signals. So we have that. Now, if we zoom in onto our 4-hour chart, do we have bear divs on the 4-hour chart? Yes, we do. You can see here higher highs. Actually, that's semi-equal highs there, and your money flow is rising. So not the best confirmations, and the only thing that worries me, guys, is this hidden bull div signal did print and money flow starting to rise again on the 4-hour. And this is why if we break, now you can see here on the chart at our 1.618 at pretty much 359. Let me hide this Elliott wave here. But if we start to break above our highs that we just created, because it looks like right now we're creating what you call a ascending triangle, and this is a bullish structure that does break out. So you have your semi-equal highs here, and you have your lower high trend that is really starting to push up here, and we could chop around in this channel in this triangle for a bit before breaking it to the upside and continuing up to that 426 level. Let's do this. Let's take this and let's leave that on the chart. Yeah, breaking up to that level. And that would probably be about your breakout level. Like if you're looking at this as sort of like a bull pennant. Let's just do this real quick. Just from the lows conservatively. Let's take that. Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's your area you'd be looking at anyways, that general area. So, if we start to close 4-hour candles above these highs, these semi-equal highs, then I would say we have a very high likelihood of continuing up to 426. But if we do not close candles above those 4-hour highs, then I would honestly be looking at seeing a correction from where we're at now. And we start to break this ascending triangle down, then I would be looking for that possible bigger correction to be coming in. You know, we do something like this, break up, and then we could just continue to chop for a bit until we come down to our levels of support. Let's check out our 2-hour chart. 2-hour. Yeah, okay. A little bit of contradictory signals. So we did print a hidden bull div earlier today on the lows, but money flow is draining out of the asset pretty hard. I don't know if you guys can see that properly, but money flow on NAMI is draining out of the asset pretty hard here. And then also money flow on market cipher B is overall draining out of the asset. As we've been making higher highs in the price action, we've been having money leave the asset. So a bearish div on money flow here on XRP. And the only reason we're paying attention to these bearish confirmations so much is because we are at our 618. We are at the 1.618 resistance. Then let's zoom in even further. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. 15-minute chart, we are seeing no real bear divs here on the 15-minute. We did just print a hidden bull div earlier, but that hidden bull div did play out by breaking these internal highs here. You can see we just had an internal liquidity grab. And right there, internal liquidity grab of our internal highs, and then now we're starting to push down. So really the key thing to look at with XRP is if we break this ascending triangle structure down, then I would say, all right, we might be seeing a bigger retrace to the downside. And actually, I think I would change this to something like this here. And if we break that down, then we're probably going to see a bigger sideways correction down, sideways and down correction. But if we start to close candles above these highs, actually, I would even see hourly candles. If we start to close hourly candles above the highs, then that means we're in business, and we probably are going to pump up to that whatever that is, 426 there. So 366, watch that 366.7 level. Money flow does look pretty good on the hourly on market cipher B. You can see we're pumping up again here on money flow. Okay, let me check the chat and say what's up to everyone. So, Ludong, nice to see you, man. You long Sui from 3.82 last night. 3.82. Let's see here. Where was that? Oh, nice, dude. You caught a good trade there. Great SFP long. Good job with that, man. Very nice. Good scalp. Quiles, what's up, man? Good to see you. Can we get, yeah, XPR USD. Okay, we'll look at that. Let me just check the chat here real quick, guys, and then we'll start looking at more. What's up, Mark Dutch? Good to see you, dude. Thank you for coming in. R-Pink, thank you. Thank you guys both for modding. And Mark, thank you for asking people to subscribe and hit the like button. Could you send your mods a new pair of bananas? Okay. Mark, I understand what you're saying. I need to, like, okay, let's see if I can change the text on this. See, so that will change the text size if I text there, but it's not changing that. I understand what you're saying, Mark, and that bothers me too, because it's hard for me to see this, and I know for a fact it's hard for you guys to see this. So I just want to know, is there any way, like, that you know that I can make these letters bigger, these numbers bigger? Cookie, we can look at Cookie, money flow. Doesn't green money flow mean money is coming in? Yes. Even if it is coming in slowly, then it was yes, money flow generally in the green means your overall trend should continue, like, pretty much to the upside. Change the screen zoom. Okay. Let's look here. Where do I do that? I tried. Okay, let me do Control A, and that's not working there. If I try Control A, so I'm not sure if that works. Zoom on this. I don't know where that would be in. Here we go. Does that help a little bit there? I got it to 125% there. Thank you for that. Let's see, who is that? Darren does things. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Torb, we will check out Ponke for sure. Absolutely. Control and Okay, well, we got the zoom up a little bit. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, browser settings, so you should be able to right click, adjust the numbers. Okay. You said money is draining out when looking at the big fat green money flow. Money changes. I'm not sure which asset you're talking about. If you're talking about SUI or XRP or Bitcoin, but money can be draining out on lower time frames while it is still overall trending to the upside on higher time frames. And that just means you're going to have small ebbs and flows, like these ebbs and flows, but your overall trend, like for instance on SUI here, your overall trend is to the upside. So on higher time frames, you would expect money flow to be rising, but on some of the lower time frames, it might be draining out and you're getting some of these small retraces and ebbs and flows within a mini range. That's why, yeah, it could be draining out on low time frames, just giving you that little push. Okay, looks much better. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Darren. I really appreciate that. And Mark, if I ever do not have it zoomed out on future streams, please remind me and I'll try to zoom in. I mean, I'll try to zoom in for you guys. Okay, so now let's go to, let me check our super chats. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you, Jesus Saves. I appreciate your super chat, man. Thank you so much. And ZMX, appreciate yours as well. I really, yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you always tuning in and always being so supportive. And yes, we'll check Arb as well, Arbitrum. So let me actually go through the super chats. We'll go through Ponke right now. We'll go through Arbitrum, and then we will go through the XPR. ETH, we'll check ETH out a bit. We'll check ENA out. We'll go through a bunch of these altcoins here. But Ponke. Ooh, okay. Let's check on Bybit here. Looks like I have looked at this in the past. Wow. So I know nothing about this altcoin, guys, but fundamental wise, I know nothing about it. Right away, I can see here, we do have a nice important support resistance flip area. What was acting as support for weeks, we had broken it to the downside, and it's now somewhat acting as resistance here. So that general area of, you know, about 2179, 2175 is going to be a pretty important area to break on the weekly time frame, to start breaking weekly candles and closing weekly candles above that. But as far as, let's just go ahead and get a little bit more detailed on the analysis. I see a nice, this range that we're forming here looks like a nice accumulation range in the making. So, you know, you had your nice distribution up here, you distributed, now we're starting to accumulate here. And I also see a bullish shift in market structure. So as far as the weekly time frame goes, you can see this was our key weekly lower high here. Yeah, that's our key high that we want to break on the weekly in order to shift market structure bullishly on the weekly. And so we made new lows, kind of wedged down here on the weekly time frame. You can see that like bottoming pattern of a wedge. And then we broke above those highs. So now that we're breaking market structure, even though it's only a wick on the weekly, it is a break to a new high. Then because we're breaking to a new high, now we're going to be looking for a higher low to come in on the charts before continuing to break up and change market structure, continue market structure bullishly. So on the weekly time frame, we are seeing some signs of strength here as far as break in market structure. Now on NAMI, as we were making this wedge down, you can see we were wedging down here. Bull divs on NAMI, money flow coming up on the weekly, printed by a hidden bull div signal on your higher low. This is actually a really nice bottom signal. This is where NAMI can come in handy with the faster money flow and faster momentum waves. So NAMI has confirmed that this pretty much might be the bottom. This is looking like accumulation, and this accumulation could be about to break out. Bull divs on the weekly, money flow coming up on the weekly, followed by the hidden bull div printing on a higher low. That is a very, very strong bottoming signal for me personally. And so let's go ahead and mark out some of our levels. Let's mark out this weekly. Sorry, guys. I know that this looks... Let me zoom in, get this better. Weekly here. And then we also got a weekly down below, but... And then our key weekly above us. That looks like we have not quite hit it yet. We're barely front running it. And let's mark out. I'm actually going to keep this one off the chart for now. I don't want to muddy up our charts too much. Weekly here. Let's check our monthly real quick. Okay, monthly there, monthly. but that's not closed yet. Okay, so no new monthlies, and let's go on to our dailies. Okay, this is a nice ascending channel that I see right here. So we'll cover this when we zoom in onto lower time frames, but pretty much you have a really nice channel here. You can see this very nice channel on the daily. So this is your trend on the daily, but we'll look at that in a second after we zoom in. Now, as far as our bottoming accumulation structure that I just talked about, this accumulation structure that's happening here, you know, you could call it a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, whatever you want to call it, model 2 accumulation, tap 1, tap 2, tap 3. Well, either way, whatever you're looking at as a pattern or a Wyckoff, we do have a bottoming structure here with bullish confirmations on high time frame. So we can pull our range and look at this accumulation zone. We're above the value area high. That is already a good sign. We're breaking above the value area high. Bounce from point of control. Also, if we pull our fib and we go from the lows to the highs of our last big impulse, let's make sure that is on log scale, because that is more than a 50% pump to the upside, more than a 100% pump. Yeah, so a little bit wicked past our golden pocket. I just want to make sure. Yeah, 250% move to the upside. So that's going to want to be on log scale. So pretty much bouncing from your golden pocket area after flipping market structure bullishly by breaking above these highs. So if this is a wave 1, you're expecting a wave 2 to come down to that general golden pocket area, and we could be about to see a wave 3 to the upside. Now, generally in a wave 3, if you're forming that ascending channel, you want to see a break of that channel to the upside, a back test of that channel, and a continuation of the wave 3. That is generally what you want to see as far as Elliott trading goes within ascending channels in a wave 3. But I'm going to go ahead and look at, we're going to turn off this range for just a second to get it out of the way. And we are going to pull our pitchfork. Because we are changing market structure, we have a key low here. We have a key high, which is the break of market structure on the daily time frame. And we have our lower high, our key lower high. And yeah, looks pretty good. This pitchfork so far looks pretty good. Let me double check one thing here. I want to check our skiff pitchfork. Okay, yeah, modified does work better for sure. All right, now let's look at daily support levels. We'll just mark out a couple locally. We'll mark out this daily here because that's an imbalance candle that's right afterwards. That's a big volume supported candle. So that daily is going to be pretty important there. And then the daily above us is very close to the weekly. I guess we can mark that out. We'll just throw that on the chart for a second. Yeah, we'll just look at that. So let me get rid of this now. And let's zoom in onto the 2-hour chart. All right, so see how nice this looks, and I hate how TradingView does this. Look at, you have to move this. Let's come up here. Just want to make sure it's super accurate. Okay. So you can see that I talk about this a lot in the live streams, and I talk about this a lot in the YouTube videos. In these bands, we form ranges that chop in or around the band. So we chopped in and around the band, creating a bunch of 1-2s in here. And this is the start of an impulse from the bottom of the pitchfork. You have your wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, wave 2. And then this could possibly be the start of the third wave. Internally, you're going to see a 5-wave structure in here. Third wave might not even be done. This is actually kind of a mess in here. And like that's that ascending channel structure that I was showing you guys. Let's turn that on. Yeah, that ascending channel structure here. We're just trading in a trend. So this is your trend on the daily or on like time frames. You're in a bullish trend to the upside. But we are hitting into our pitchfork midline. I know there's a lot of levels on this chart. So let me know if this is too confusing for you guys and I need to hide some of this. But I'll make the channel pink so it looks a little bit different. We're going to turn off the channel for now. And we're going to focus on the pitchfork. So let me turn off some of these levels here. All right, as far as just the pitchfork goes, chopping around in the lower band, was able to kindly hold it as support, break up, and we broke up to our midline. You can see this is where we're finding some resistance on the midline. And now this is a lower liquidity asset. So you are going to see big wicks because there's less liquidity. So money's going to move this easier. But midline rejected us here. Midline rejected us a second time on a lower high here. And we are starting to form a little 2-hour range right here. This is your little range that you want to be paying attention to. Now, the way that we formed some bear divs, higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves, also lower highs in the money flow here. We could see a bit of a retrace, at least down to take our range lows, our micro range lows. So I would be looking at coming down to take out these semi-equal lows at like 15.27, coming down here to take out these lows. But if we pull a Fibonacci from the last major low on the 2-hour to the high, okay, yeah, and that golden pocket, let me just make that a regular golden pocket. That golden pocket is going to be the SFP into that low. So that's your first level of support that I'd be looking for a scalp trade. Remember, we're playing the range of our small scalp, a scalp range. This is our scalp range we should be looking at. So we're holding the value area low of that scalp range, but right below the range lows, the actual range lows, you have your golden pocket. If we did come down an SFP into your golden pocket and reclaim that low, that's an automatic long for me. Enter long here, stop would go below the low, and I would just be targeting the highs of the range, really. That's already a 4-to-1 risk-reward ratio, but you could even target your lower high up to the pitchfork band again, pitchfork midline, excuse me. So that's a little scalp you could look at Ponke. But let's zoom out onto some higher time frames. Let's go on to the 8-hour. Yeah, okay, we are seeing some bear divs here. We're seeing a lot of bear divs. So higher highs in the price action here, lower highs in the momentum waves, followed by a trigger wave, and money flow is now kind of starting to drain out here. On NAMI, I don't know if you guys can see this, but money flow is draining out pretty rapidly here on the 8-hour. This tells me that it's most likely that we at least come down to this local golden pocket at 15 cents. Yes, we could bounce around this volume profile for a bit and continue to kind of chop in here, but overall, kind of like we're waiting for Bitcoin to come take its range lows, we're kind of going to want to see Ponke come down and sweep the liquidity of those lows. Let's go on to the daily time frame here, and let's look at that daily. Yeah, money flow's curved over now on the daily time frame, and your momentum wave is kind of curved over here on the daily time frame. And on NAMI, we had daily bear divs, higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves, and your money flow is now making bear divs as well. Or not bear divs because that's a lower high, but money flow's draining out of the asset. Okay, that there is your daily look at it. So now let's zoom in onto our hourly charts. Yeah, money flow's consistently draining out, about to cross over into the red here on Market Cipher B. And we did have local bear divs from earlier today, or from yesterday. Higher highs on the price action, coming up into your pitchfork midline and seeing a rejection again from the pitchfork midline. You have lower highs in your momentum waves here, but at that time, your money flow was still kind of coming up. And now that it's draining pretty rapidly out and we're back inside the volume profile, there's a chance that we do come take the range lows. A pretty good chance, in my opinion, that we come take out those range lows into your local golden pocket at 15 cents. So let's zoom back out onto the 4-hour chart and let's mark out some other levels. Let's look at some NPOCs. Okay, really? We do not have any naked weekly point of controls within this entire ascending channel structure. We've already taken out this naked weekly point of control. There's nothing really around us here. Yeah, let's check out the monthly ones then. Geez, nothing really at all. Except 55 cents up there. All right, and now let's look at our naked dailies because we're in local ranges and looking at this push up. That's going to be what's most relevant anyways. Okay. A lot of naked dailies on the way up because we're making this bullish structure of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Because of that, you're going to leave down a lot. You're going to leave behind that staircase of naked daily points of control, which is actually good because if we start dropping, that's going to be levels of support that we have to work through. Bullish structure. Once again, that ascending channel that we're in here. So let's mark out some relevant ones. Actually, before we do that, let's look at our Fibonacci pull from the lows to the highs. Make sure that is on log scale. Okay. Don't really like that. But also because this impulse, we're seeing this impulse here, and this impulse is most likely not completed with all these 1-2s in here. Maybe this was your third wave, or maybe this is, you're still in the third wave here, and then we're going to see a bunch of 4-5s up here. I would look at a Fibonacci pull from the lows of the impulse to our current highs, and we're going to look at that 382, which often acts as support resistance in a strong trend. So that 382 right there is right around that golden pocket, and also it's kind of where your prior highs are. So that 15 to 14.9 area is the area of local area of support that I would be interested in looking for longs. Let's turn on this. Okay, and then the next level though, so I'm going to hide those fibs just for a second to clean up the chart. Let me hide this guy. Let me hide this guy. And if we break that 15-cent area, you can see we have a fresh daily down here at 13.8 into your pitchfork band. And I believe there's probably going to be a naked daily down there as well. Yeah, very close by, a naked daily. So let's mark that out. Actually, I want to check to see if there's one towards the bottom. Yeah, this guy here. Let's mark out this naked daily. All right, so first level of support is that 15-cent area. The next level that I would personally be interested in is the daily, the naked weekly, naked daily point of control, and the pitchfork band down here. That is going to be your next, that's kind of your bigger level of support. Now, to the upside, we have to break above this midline, and this midline could reject you many times. But if we also need to watch for if this range continues and like we drop down to 15, we SFP the lows, only to continue this range for a bit, coming up to that daily. And if it's in confluence with our midline, we could see another rejection. So I would be watching for that. And that would be those 4-5s that you're getting. You have all these 1-2s in here. You get that kind of bigger push up, and then you're going to create a bunch of 4-5s, like that ascending channel type price action where it could end, and then you see the dump. So be aware of that. But if we break above this midline, and let's turn on, okay, the weekly is going to be right up near that daily. And then let's turn on our channel again. Is the channel, the top of the channel? Okay, that's a pretty steep channel there. Let me actually fix this channel. Okay, so the bottom of the channel, guys, is also going to be right around that 15-cent area. So that's more confluence for support for your local scalp long at 15 cents. Because if we're going to maintain this impulsive trend, then the bottom of the channel is going to want to bounce. But above us, I would be aware, because we did front run that weekly. You can see how close we got to hitting that weekly. So now we have an SFP of the highs. And was that on the weekend? Let's see here. No, that was last Wednesday. So we do have an SFP into the weekly around that area. So be aware that could be a short position. If you pierce this level, reject from your weekly and fall down below that level, that could be a short opportunity. I would say just this general area here. That's a really long area. I understand, really big area of resistance, but that's kind of generally your area of resistance. And then if you break above that, honestly, I'd be looking to come up to the upper band, and that would actually be a nice SFP of these highs. Well, depending on how quick you got up there. There we go. But overall, it's looking pretty good. You did just take your internal highs out, and we're trading below them. You can see this. I know this chart looks super messy, so let me clean it up again. Okay, and then let's look at that volume profile, the bigger one. Your accumulation profile, you're above your value area high. So be aware also, guys, on larger time frames, this is your accumulation range. And as long as you're above this value area high, which is 14.37-ish, then you probably do have a higher chance to continue. But if we lose 15 cents and do not bounce from 15 cents, then it would be pretty likely that we deviate this a little bit, come down, bounce from here, reclaim it, and then start to continue up. And the weekly up here at 35 cents is in confluence with the top of the channel, or top of the pitchfork. And so if this is going to be a bigger wave 1, wave 2, and our wave 3 is going to push, you could push to the top of the pitchfork here at 35 cents before seeing that bigger wave 4 and then a wave 5 here. But we can do updates on Ponke. If you ask me again in future live streams, we can keep this updated and keep looking at this. Okay, let's look at, I'm sorry, I know I spent a lot of time there. Arbitrum. Ooh, I set this alert line on Arbitrum earlier today, actually, because I do think that Arbitrum, it's breaking its little accumulation range here. And you can see this, this is like a bottoming formation range. Let's zoom out onto the daily chart. You have your nice bottoming range starting to form here, your accumulation range. And there is a possibility that we could come down one more time because, well, I guess, yeah, you do have a clear tap 1, tap 2, tap 3 here, starting to break market structure. Or have we? Let's do this. I want to put it on. Okay, haven't quite broken our structure yet. But if we break above this, then I would even be more bullish. You can also see this is a pretty important support resistance flip area, acting as support through this area on the daily time frame, now flipped to resistance. So we're at resistance. Be aware, this could absolutely roll over and drop. But because you're above your value area high, let's turn on that value area. Because you're above your value area high right now, this is going to be acting as support. And actually that shifted it a little bit. I do like it. Yeah, okay. That value area, we're trying to maintain above it. So the daily close back inside of it would be concerning to me. Back inside that area would be a little bit concerning to me. But it is looking pretty good here. And let's zoom out. This monthly was not quite hit. Oof. Okay, that weekly. And then we have a weekly down here. We'll mark this out. I'm marking out this weekly because you can see that big volume candle the very next week. Both of these candles, really. And so that weekly is going to be a pretty important weekly there. Bearish structure. Here, you can see our descending channel hitting into the bottom of the channel here, and we're breaking the midline. Let me turn off some of these levels so you guys could see this a little bit better. But you can see, even on the weekly chart, How many rejections did we get there? So rejection, 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections from the midline. Now we're breaking above the midline, flipping that midline to support. So this is your overall bearish trend on the weekly. Key to break above that. And if we pull our fib, I bet you the golden pocket's in that general area. There you go. Okay, let's. Yeah. So that golden pocket, that is an 80% dump to the downside. So you absolutely should be using the log scale fib. So you can see that area at 66 to 70 cents is going to be very, very important as far as weekly time frame structure goes. Because if we do this, we come up here, we reject here, your overall bearish trend could just continue and you could keep breaking down. But we would be breaking this accumulation range. So in that case, 70 cents is actually going to be really important. And I actually do think we could reject from it the first time we come up. Come up to 70 cents, reject. Then you would want to come back down and back test your prior value area high of this range, flip it to support, and then see a breakout of this channel, this descending channel. So that is what we're looking at on the weekly. Let me turn on some of these levels again. I know this looks like a lot here. Let's leave that one off. And yeah, I would say this weekly and monthly up here does look pretty good. Let's naked monthly point of control right near your monthly. And a naked monthly point of control. Actually, it's from this month, so I wouldn't mark it out yet. It's going to be right here at 32 cents as well, 33, 32. But because the month hasn't closed, I'm not going to mark it out yet. Oh, and that's a weekly, excuse me, naked weekly point of control. So yeah, too early to mark that out right now. No, I'm sorry. That is a naked monthly. We're on the month here. I'm getting confused because I saw this up here on the weekly. But let's look at our naked weeklies. Wow. Yeah, this area right up in here is going to be strong, but also check this out. So like naked weekly up here. Very strong resistance between 91 and $1. And then very strong support. Well, this is also going to be a strong resistance up here. Golden pocket, naked weekly point of control. Top of the channel. And we do have the fresh, as far as scalp positions go on Arbitrum. Fresh naked weekly that is going to be right in here. Okay, naked daily near the weekly. Point of control of your accumulation range is down here. So right now, this is your major support. POC, naked daily POC, weekly level. And I would like to mark out this guy. So let me just mark out all the levels real quick, guys. Then we'll clean up the chart and we'll look at some confluence in here. Yeah, this does look like 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's your 3-wave corrective move down and your sub count of a 2. So this is the start of your third wave here. And if from the start of your third wave, if it's ending, I don't know quite yet if it's ending, but if it is, we can pull our fib. Third wave. Your invalidation for the impulse would be hitting this golden pocket at 37 cents. Now, that doesn't mean we won't bounce from there, because this actually is a nice support level, being the midline of your big weekly bearish structure, bearish trend, and a liquidity grab. Anytime you see a liquidity grab of lows into a golden pocket. And of course, this is like an ascending channel structure here. So, you know, oftentimes when you break an ascending channel down, you will sweep the liquidity of that channel into support. But what I'd be looking for, because that would invalidate the impulse, I'd be looking for a lower high and then continuation. I hope this is making sense to you guys. Little bit scattered on the thoughts here. I just marking out levels. So this would be a level of support that I would be interested in, though, because it is the channel midline of your weekly channel. It is a golden pocket, and it's the SFP of this break of structure into that area. So 37 cents, 37 to 37.8 ish, or really 38 cents. And above us, this is an SFP. But really above us, I would be looking at the SFP just above us, because you have semi-equal highs there. And we have not quite come up to it just yet. We're fighting with the value area high right now. So if we flip this value area high, which it looks like we're attempting to, on the 4-hour chart, money flow looks pretty decent here. Your momentum wave starting to bottom out. You are seeing that bear div, though. As this channel is forming, bear divs here. Bear divs here, you know. I would look for, because these bear divs are forming, I would look for one more push up from here. And if we get that SFP, that could be a good short, just based off the bear divs that we're seeing. 8-hour as well. Bear divs and money flow is now starting to come out. Bear divs printed on NAMI. So yeah, SFP of 51.44. I would look for a short on this personally. On Arbitrum. Now, if we do not SFP it, if you do not get a confirmed SFP, remember, a confirmed swing failure pattern is piercing above the level and then closing. I would be looking for like a 15-minute candle. Pierce above, close a 15-minute candle below, enter short. But if we don't, then we really have a clear shot up. Look, if there's nothing really in here, we have a clear shot up to 70 cents. So we break above, we continue up to 70 cents, and that's your naked weekly point of control in confluence with the top of your weekly bearish trend and your log golden pocket. So that's your next big area of resistance, 70 cents. I'm just going to do this. Okay, sorry guys, I just wanted to mark those out because this does look interesting on spot. And then of course your next major level of resistance, it's a pretty big zone, but it's really this zone in here. 91 to $1. Yeah, and if we break that, then we can start looking up to, you know, take out highs and look much further. But I'm worried about a little bit of a SFP at 51 cents and a dump here because of what we're seeing on bearish confirmations. So that's kind of what I'd be watching for. And if we do dump back in the volume profile, the first level I would really be interested is that 37 cent area. And then if we break that 33 cent area, 34 to 33. We do have some naked weekly just below us. And the reason why I marked this naked weekly out is because you can see if we zoom in onto the hourly chart, we're starting to kind of form a bit of a range in here, this topping range. And you could SFP into that and then continue the range. But that would be a scalp trade for sure. Like if we come down and hit and bounce from the naked weekly, then I would only be looking to take it up to the 51 cent area. Complete TP there. Okay, guys, sorry for spending so much time on these. Let me check the chat real quick, and then we will continue on with so ICP. Yep, we SFP the 4 hour. Let me check Bitcoin real quick. Ooh, Bitcoin is pumping back up, guys. I might get stopped out on this short trade. I'm still in the short, by the way, but I will let myself get stopped out. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm in like 7 or 8 different longs on altcoins, which are paying me much, much more, so I'm okay with that. What's up, Andrew? It's good to see ya. We SFP'd on the 4 hour. Okay. Yeah, BTC now, David. I did actually just enter a short trade on BTC based off an SFP, but it looks like it might not play out here. And we might continue breaking up. Honestly, the money flow did look pretty bullish on the hourly, or was it, what was it, the 4 hour chart? Money flow looks pretty bullish still, coming back to the upside, and we did print that bull div here. But we did get the confirmed swing failure pattern into that band of resistance. My stop is just above that high. If we're going to break and close a 4 hourly candle above this volume profile value area high, then I do think we're going to continue pushing up and at least come take out our lower highs at 121, pretty much 121. Okay, let's get back. Yes, Curtis, I will cover ICP. I'm gonna go in order here though. So I think the next one was XPR. Let me just scroll up. Where am I at? No pants. I'm like Divine Hood. No pants today. All right, Mark Dutch. And good evening, man. Good evening to you. Okay, XPR. XPR USD. I think I did it on MEXC last time. There we go. Okay. XPR, we are looking at a bullish pitchfork. So the last time we covered this, it was a bullish pitchfork we were looking at. We changed market structure, breaking up. And as far as weekly time frame goes, we could be looking at a 5-wave impulse. A 1, 2, here's your 3rd wave, obviously. 4th wave correcting down, and then we could be in about a 5th wave right now, breaking up in a 5th wave to take out, to complete your weekly impulse to the upside. So let's mark out. Let's see, that weekly's been taken. Yeah, all we have is that weekly up here in this purple box. We've already got that purple box marked out. Let's go on to the daily here. And you can see we marked this out a long time ago. But let's... Oop. Obviously, the pitchfork band. Dang it. Pitchfork band's no longer going to be there, but we do have the SFP into that. And on the daily time frame, I would be playing this range here. This is your wave 4 corrective move. We're at the value area high right now. Even this on the daily looks like we could be starting your 5th wave. That's your 1, that's your 2. We could be in our 3 still, continuing up. Then see a 4 to back test value area high, a 5 to come take out these highs here. That could be your 5th wave totally, but your 5th wave generally retraces a little bit further or pushes a little bit further than that. So if we look at our Fibonacci, we go from the highs of 4 to the lows of 4, and we turn on our wave 5 targets. We're going to be looking between the 1.236 and the 1.618. And honestly, that looks pretty good there as far as your 1.618 is most commonly hit in this, and that's right at the top of the band. That's 11.5 cents or 0.0115 cents. This guy. $786 value area high was there. This is where we're at right now. So if I pull this box over, not quite there yet. Value area high has shifted down a little bit. I just want to check something here. Okay, we broke that high. So weekly market structure has even shifted. Money flow on the weekly is looking decent here. Let's go on to the daily. Yeah, money flow on the daily is trying to curve back up, and on NAMI, it's still rising here. But you are at your value area high, so be aware. As far as our lower, so we're looking in a potential wave 3 of a bigger weekly impulse, right? You have your wave 1, your wave 2, wave 3, and then our wave 4 here could be completed, and we could be about to start the 5th wave up to that 0.0115 area. But what I would be saying right now on lower time frames, you have a sub count of an impulse within your wave 5. You should be looking for a 5 wave impulse within itself. So this is a little bit wonky here. You could see this is a wave 1, a wave 2, pushing up in a wave 3. We're about to correct 4 and then 5, but I would like to continue higher in a wave 5. So if we're disregarding this wick, we could say all of this is a wave 1, and then we would retrace wave 2, wave 3, 4, 5 here. We don't know. We don't have enough information yet. But let's look at the 8-hour chart. Yeah, bear divs on the 8-hour, but we did just print a hidden bull div signal today, like earlier today on NAMI here. I would say that with this hidden bull div signal printing, and we're kind of just forming a triangle in here. As much as people hate triangles, it's just a consolidation zone. I would say that we could break this out and continue at least pushing up to our box up ahead. Let's pull some fibs here. Let's zoom back out to the daily and let's pull some fibs. Okay, your non-log golden pocket is going to be just above us. I actually like this area because better than this area here. 786. Okay, value area high is shifted, and our smaller 786 is going to be there, but I actually don't like this box. I'm going to get rid of this. So because this area of resistance is better. You can see we have the SFP of our weekly daily highs, or our internal daily highs, sorry, not weekly, daily, that doesn't even make sense. Internal daily highs into your golden pocket at 0.0060 ish. That is where we could be looking for your potential wave 3 to end. You retrace in a wave 4 to backtest that value area high, but that would be a pretty big extended 5 there. Let's go to the 4-hour. Yeah, money flow's curving up again. But we did have the bear divs, higher highs here, lower highs here, and now money flow is starting to drain out. If this, we need to watch for this curving up and making another lower high. If we do this here, create another high into your golden pocket, and we create another lower high on the momentum waves and on the money flow, that's where I'd definitely be looking for a short from that 0.06 cent area. Next major short opportunity is that guy. And if we break that, then if we do reject from that, watch out for the back test of the value area high, because we could back test that and continue pushing up here. Okay, SFP into the weekly. I don't even like this guy here anymore. This, yeah, we do have a weekly there. Weekly and a daily pretty much in there. So, yeah, that's not even a good SFP though. I would say that 6 cent area is more important. But we got to pay attention to the midline as well, the pitchfork midline, because if we do kind of grind in here for a bit, work our way up to that midline, and that midline could be getting close to our wave 5 targets by the end. This one's a bit tough though, because we're at our macro value area high, and it's possible that we retrace. We are seeing some bear divs here. Okay, we'll go through XRP real quick. Or yeah, we went through XRP. XRP could push up to 426, but we're at the non-log 1.618 right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do continue to kind of grind down over the next month or so, like sideways and down, if we reject from here. Now remember, if we start to close even an hourly candle above these highs at 366, then I do think we're pushing up to 426, and we're going to see the log. And based off the way money flow looks here on the daily time frame rising again, we could see it, guys. We could see our wave 3, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 pushes all the way to 426. Then see your wave 4, 5. ETH, guys, ETH, pretty much we covered it. We're back testing that pitchfork band. I expect to move up to 45.34 if we can hold it. Now, if we start to close back inside of it, ranginess, maybe even, a bit of a drop. But overall, Ethereum looks bullish, and I expect Ethereum to continue higher. Okay, let's see. ENA, we'll look at... Wait, ENA... I wonder if this is the right. Rashibas, is this the right one? And I'm sorry if I butcher your name. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. ICP, so we'll still cover ICP as well. Yeah, BTC. What's BTC doing here? Okay, so we're still in it, but it's not looking the hottest right now. Just chopping around that value area high. Holding and maintaining above it, really. Yeah, guys, please hit the like button if you got anything out of this. And I understand that I'm covering I'm spending a lot of time on some altcoins, so I'll try to be quicker on some of the altcoins here. Let's do ICP. Yep. Okay, gonna start hitting the shower. I'm gonna start hitting the shower. The webcam is running. All right. Mark Dutch, thanks for the show. Cookie, ICP, and ENA. So let me do ENA here. Guys, give me just a second to let the dogs in. Okay, ENA here. Wow, we haven't covered this in a long time. Starting to break market structure bullishly on the daily and even on the weekly. Well, not the weekly yet, but daily time frame breaking above these internal lower highs here. That's a really good sign. And if we can maintain above those, we probably are going to see continuation here. So you can see broke above it and we're coming down. If we can hold above 46 cents, then we probably are going to continue. Let's pull our fib. Yeah, our non-log golden pocket is at that monthly at 90 cents. So that's going to be a key level there. But I know that is bigger than... Yeah, that's an 83% drop. So let me do another one. Okay, and I do like that golden pocket as well because you can see it's a nice support resistance flip area. If we take this and we shift this over, you can see how nice of a support resistance flip area it is here and then over here as well. So very nice support resistance flip on the daily time frame, as well as your log golden pocket. That could be where this daily impulse ends actually, guys. So on the daily time frame, you can see this sort of the 1 2 1 2, your big three here. We could do a 4 5 4 5 into this, finishing this big daily impulse, then get a corrective move back, and then, you know, hopefully continue pushing up here. I'm going to look at this range here, this bottoming range, and let's see. Starting to break out of that value area high. Let me see if this shifts it. Same thing, same value area. Yeah, this is a nice pitchwork as well because you can see here. Let's zoom in onto the 4-hour chart. Very nice. Chop around the band, lose the band, back test it, drop to the bottom. Then you formed a range in the band for a bit here, like you often do. Was able to ultimately hold the band, and we pushed up to the midline. So rejecting from the midline here, And if we do maintain above these 46-cent highs, then I do expect continuation up to 70 cents. 70 cents up here is their log golden pocket. Hold on, let me get rid of that. Dang, those weekly NPOCs are not very nice. I like this weekly NPOC down here because we do have, it's inside the band. Okay, naked monthly point of control right at your monthly level as well. So this is your very strong resistance, 90 cents up here. And it's the top of the pitchfork band. Golden pocket monthly, top of the pitchfork band. Naked monthly point of control. This is your major area here that I would be looking at as a potential swing high opportunity, like a swing area of resistance. Let's go in on the daily. And I also want to check our anchored VWAP. Okay, we're breaking above the anchored VWAP and actually trying to hold it as support. But just broke above the anchored VWAP yesterday, rejected from the midline. So if we come down and we hold this and close our daily candle, I'm sorry, I know this looks, you see how we're breaking above this bearish trend, your bearish volume weighted trend, breaking above it, hitting into the midline, rejecting. But if we can come down here and hold this, then we're probably going to see continuation up to 71. But we might see a few days of chopping, just like Ethereum did, kind of between this area before seeing that breakup. And let's look at our anchored VWAP from the lows. Yeah, okay. And I like where this ends up right at the band, the pitchfork band. And that's pretty much around the back test of your value area high of your small daily range that you're breaking out of. So that general area, 37 cents to like 35. I would say this is a support level. What's my take on risking 2% on each trade instead of 1%? I do risk 2% sometimes. I've even been known to risk 3% on a trade. Really no more than 3%, but generally it depends on what your winning percentage is. Like if your win percentage is like 55 to 65%, then I probably wouldn't be risking 2% per trade. But if your winning percentage overall, your ratio is like a 70-75% win percentage ratio, then yeah, sometimes. And also just look at the trades. If it looks like it's a more iffy trade and you don't have really good confirmations, risk 1%. But if it's a trade that you see really good confirmations in, risk 2% instead of 1% if you're comfortable with it. So that's what I would say. Oh yeah, ZMX, I see your chats, man. I'm sorry. What did you? I see you retracted one. So what was your chat here? I'm sorry, ZMX. I promise you, I'm not ignoring you. Check ETH BTC. Okay, I will check ETH BTC chart in just a second here. Let me see. And I know you did a super chat too. Yeah, okay. So ETH BTC, we'll check that. ENA. Yeah, for ENA, guys, 70 cents, 90 cents, and then 35 cents for support. And if we lose that, I would expect the rotation all the way back down to the bottom of the accumulation range, which is your value area low, POC, and weekly at like 27 to 25. Those are your major levels. You want to maintain above 46 cents, and even really maintaining above this anchored VWAP would be the best. Okay. What was that? BTC. Okay, we'll check ICP and then we'll check BTC ETH and Cookie. So, guys, ICP, I just expect it's probably going to continue pushing higher. I actually talked about this a couple days ago in my live stream last week, and I added to my long position on ICP. When we came into this golden pocket, we had an SFP into a golden pocket at the value area low of our little range. And so I did add to that at this area here. Or was it on the back to this? Hold on, let me check my phone. I think... yeah, it was the 578 level. So... okay, but overall on ICP, I expect us to continue at least to take these highs. 632 to 637. We're breaking above the value area high of our accumulation range, our little bottoming accumulation range. You know, you could pull this range either from the exact lows of this impulse down, or you could even stretch it a little bit if you wanted to here. Either way, we're above the value area high. More importantly, we hit into our 1-to-1 Fibonacci and our 786, our macro 786 Fibonacci pull, and our 1-to-1 correction on, like, if we zoom out onto the weekly time frame, it just looks so primed here because you can see a nice 3-wave corrective move down here, hitting into your 1-to-1, and now starting to form a bottoming accumulation pattern. So, and it was also your macro 786 here. So very, very nice. And if we can break these highs, one of the things that I am worried about and is breaking above SFPing these highs and then seeing another rotation back down to the bottom of the range. So be aware that if we SFP those highs and start to drop, it could be a bad sign, a really bad sign. But other than that, we have a weekly and a daily at 723. That's your next level. If we break above 637, there's nothing really in here. Look at this is a big fair value gap in here. You see this candle here, big fair value gap right here. So if we start to break inside, break above 637 and close above it, I think we have a straight shot pretty much up to 723. And then if we do reject from there, because this is a little bit of resistance in here, you could reject from 723 to come back down and backtest either the highs of the range or the value area high of the range. But I think we could work our way up to the value area high in confluence with our golden pocket at 943 to 983. And even higher. So daily time frame looking pretty bullish. Once again, we have this like 1-2, 1-2 impulse in here, a double 1-2. We're in our third wave. And I would like personally to see this third wave break these highs a little bit above it and then see that 4-5-4-5 up into that weekly to finish this daily impulse into the weekly. And then you could see your bigger correction. And that macro POC coming in around 521, that would be a nice, let's just do a thought experiment here, a little experiment. If we pull a golden pocket from the lows up to that weekly, yeah, golden pocket's going to be right where your macro POC is. And so for me, and that macro POC is a much, much larger range POC going back to May of 2022. So if our daily impulse ends at the weekly, and that's a bigger wave one of a starting of a bullish structure, your wave two is going to want to oftentimes pull back to the golden pocket, which would also be your POC of your big range. And then you could work your way up to the value area high for your wave 3, 4, 5. You know, that would be a really nice. But overall, ICP looks pretty good. And zooming in on lower time frames, like let's just go to the 2-hour chart. We are kind of forming this little bottoming range, holding the value area low. And we also bounce from our local golden pocket after grabbing liquidity. We grabbed the liquidity down here into your value area low, into your golden pocket. And now we're above the point of control. So I actually expect to move up at least to come up to value area high. But honestly, it looks like we're still, money flow's rising back up again here. Money flow here, good. If we look at the 4-hour chart, Money flows rising again. Green dot here on the 4 hour. I just personally think we're going to come up at least to that 632 to 637 area to see those SFPs. Once we get up there, if we do SFP it, I might look for at least a scalp short. Yeah, but we are starting to see that exhaustion, and I talk about this a lot. Towards the end of an impulse, you start to get exhaustion in here. You get that choppiness here. And so if we do come up, grab that liquidity and continue to see the bearish signals come in. But right now, money flow is not making bear divs. It's a higher high here, and we want to see bear divs on some of the money flow too. So yeah, ICP still looks pretty good, guys. Okay, and then lastly, wait, let's not lastly, ETH, was it ETH BTC or BTC ETH? Let's see, ZMX, ETH BTC. Okay, put the anchored VWAP. Gosh, let me just do this. You said put the anchored VWAP on the all-time high. $2017. Yeah, that's that guy. Okay. Well, for me, the anchored VWAP hasn't been hit yet, or it's above us still. We could have called the bottom and giga-longed it. So if that maybe a different chart, let's check Binance here real quick and see if that's what you're looking at. We're at the point of control, by the way, of our big range since, like, really kind of the entire history. This is going to be a very key level. If we break above this, then look at, you're coming up to 54 cents. That's probably where that anchored VWAP was. Not quite. So I'm not sure what chart you're looking at, ZMX, but on Binance and Coinbase, it's above us still. Yeah, above us still. But look at this liquidity trail that's been left here. So once you start to break structure and break that, those can get that liquidity can get stopped out real quick. So in other words, seeing Ethereum run against Bitcoin pretty hard here. And we know that it's that part of the cycle where money's starting to rotate into the alts. Yeah, I mean that anchored VWAP in confluence with that golden pocket's going to be nice right there. Let me just check one thing. I see a smaller range up here. Okay, value area low of this small range is going to be in confluence with this golden pocket, but I do think that log golden pocket's a little bit nicer. Yeah. It's also a nice support resistance flip. You can see support here, support all through here. So that's a pretty nice support resistance flip area. 0.04785 to like 0.05. But on the weekly time frame, this could be the start of a weekly impulse up. 1, 2, we could be pushing up in a third, 4, 5, up to that area. Let's check out. Okay, 1.618, but let's do this. No, neither of them are very good. Dang it. This little pocket here is looking kind of nice between the weekly and the monthly. And if we do turn this on log scale, that's going to be in there. No, it's not. Sorry. If we're looking really, really bullish, then this could be like a double 1, 2, 2, a 1, 2, 1. And if we retrace back down to the golden pocket, it would invalidate a wave 3, but it could signal a double 1, 2. And then you could get your big third wave, 4, 5, 4, 5, something maybe taking out these lower highs into your non-log golden pocket. Taking out all these guys here. Why did that change? That didn't change. I don't know why that's doing that, but yeah, that's pretty nice. We're attempting to break above the POC and flip it to support. So if we can continue this like bounce from very, very locally, this 0.30, I expect us to continue up to this weekly level up here. I mean, we are at a daily level. Of course, this daily lower high here. That's where we're rejecting from right now, is our daily level. And so nice rejection here. If we bounce from POC, I expect us to move up to the weekly, monthly area. And then if we break that, then honestly, like the anchor VWAP value area high, golden pocket up here. And if we start to lose this again, I mean, I would probably look for that double 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a break up into 3. If you're looking at this as a potential third wave, because let's look at the volume here. I mean, relatively good spike in volume, but it is lower than your wave 1. So that makes, if you're in a third wave, you want to see a higher amount of volume here than in your wave 1, and we do not so far. So actually that does give me, if it's going to be a super bullish structure, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to see a 3. But bearish case scenario, we do need to look at this, because this could be a 3-wave corrective move before seeing a dump again. So we'll do that pull, but we're going to look at our 1-to-1 to 1.236 target, and we're hitting into that right now, guys. So be aware that if we do start to lose this POC, this could have been a 3-wave corrective move before continuing to dump more Bitcoin against, or Ethereum against Bitcoin. Okay, there. Yeah, daily time frame. Actually, let's stay here for a second. Money flow is starting to curve off here. We don't really see bear divs, so that's kind of a good signal. And let's look at today. Money flows crossed over into the green, but we are topping out here. Oh man, this is a tough one, guys, because we are in our correction area, our area where if it's going to be an ABC correction before continuing lower, then this is the area where you would expect to reject from. And if we start to lose that POC at 0.30, it's not going to look good. But if we, like, thinking about what we want ETH to do, you know, we're thinking Bitcoin's going to range for a little bit, and we want ETH to pump up to that 1.618. So Ethereum's obviously going to run a lot more against Bitcoin, because on Bitcoin, we're expecting a little bit of a wave 4 range here before coming up a couple more times. And that means that we could see ETH BTC continue, you know, bounce from this and continue up higher. Weekly, let's look at the weekly. Man. I don't like the way that money flow is starting to curl out again here on the weekly. No real bear divs though. That's nice. As far as on market cipher B doesn't, and money flow looks pretty dang good. Nami, we were seeing the bear divs here, and no bear divs on money flow. So I would look at overall Ethereum continuing to run against Bitcoin, but you are at a pullback zone, so be aware. Like this, this could get bloody if we do start to lose that POC. This could get a little bit bloody. 4-hour money flow looks pretty good overall. We are seeing bear divs, triple drive, higher highs through all of this, lower highs through all of this. But that money flow is going to continue to overpower that as long as it's kind of steadily rising. I hate how TradingView does that. Shifts the POC depending on... But yeah, this area is looking pretty good up here. I think it's going to continue overall. XRP is always ugly when it pumps. Yes, it is. Is XRP doing something right now? Not really. So XRP, though, guys, it does look more like we might continue up to 426 to the 1.618. That's the log one, and we are on a log chart, so we do have to be aware of that. But it's coiling. It's coiling. Be aware of the fake out where we do break down, take our range lows, and then continue up. Take the liquidity down here. Okay, Cookie. And let me check the chat real quick. Weekly money flow on the chart is sick. On, yeah, maybe short term. Yeah, momentum. ZMX, I do think so too. I think that ETH BTC doesn't look too bad right now as far as higher time frame stuff goes. I think we charted this like a week ago or a couple weeks ago. Okay. Nothing really marked out. We're pretty much hovering around the anchored VWAP, but on the daily time frame, it looks like we've broken above it. You can see it acted as resistance here. Now we're breaking above it and trying to maintain it as support. So just like Ethereum did, Ethereum broke above it and then chopped around it and pretty much closed no daily candles below it for quite a while. So if this closes a daily candle above this anchored VWAP at about 21.3, then I think we could continue here. We're breaking above the value area high. This one's kind of ugly, to be honest with you. Oh, I like this golden pocket here because you can see all these pretty much equal highs. Let me just pull this over and, you know, check out all these equal highs here. You got all of this in here. And there's going to be a lot of liquidity resting above all of this into your golden pocket area at 26.7. Let me just do one more. And let's yeah. All right. So to me, this looks like it could be a wave 4 here, but actually, no. I mean, we pulled back too far. It would have invalidated the impulse. But, you know, if this was a wave 1, this was your flat correction, an A wave, a B flat, where you come take out the highs of A, and then a C, but you also didn't take out the lows of C. So that's a really crappy running flat looking thing. And then this pushes up to the 1.618. But then if we were going to see a wave 4, you don't want to retrace past the golden pocket. And we did. The golden pocket pull from the lows of 3 to the highs of 3. And so that invalidates that being a potential impulse. I mean, I like that 26-cent area. The way that money flow looks here on the daily, oh, it's starting to come out again. So that's not good how it's coming out. But on NAMI, it looks really, really strong momentum. I would say that we might continue up to that golden pocket at 26 cents, 26.6, even up to 30. Yeah, actually that 30-cent area. So 26.6, and then if we break that, 30, because that's your 786 up there in confluence with your weekly. And you have a naked weekly point of control pretty much right up there. Okay, that golden pocket's pretty nice because there's some internal liquidity down there. Let's mark out that one naked weekly. That's this month, so we're not going to mark it out. Here's the thing, guys. This does look impulsive here. So what we got to watch for is a bigger 3-wave corrective move down to that golden pocket. And if we're looking at that, then we're going to pull a fib here. Yeah, and since we haven't hit it yet, we have all these semi-equal lows down around 14 cents, 14 to 15 cents. So if we're going to see that bigger 3-wave corrective move, so be aware of that rejection from 26.6. That's really going to be an area where you could look for a potential swing short opportunity. And even 30 cents, 26 cents, 26.6, and then 30. Those are the major levels I'm looking at. For more scalp levels, I would be looking at the SFP into set like at 17 cents. This area of support down here. If we break this now, like this little parabolic structure. Daily candle close is actually going to be pretty important today. Let's see if we close above the anchored VWAP, because if we do, I think we're going to continue running up. Money flow looks pretty good here. We did just print a hidden bull div. Let's go to the 8-hour. Yeah, local bear divs are starting to form here. But money flow doesn't look the worst. That hidden bull div kind of played out from this low. We did pump up and make new highs. Yeah, and I would just honestly be looking at this range if you're playing Cookie DAO. Breaking above the value area high and flipping it to support today. That's pretty nice. So yeah, close the daily candle above anchored VWAP and really even value area high. And we're most likely going to continue up higher. 26. Archie TV, what's up, man? Welcome in. Yeah, QNT. We'll look at QNT. And then, guys, I do got to go after this. QNT Quant. Is that Quant? Yeah. That weekly's been hit. There's a weekly there. Man, this thing looks rangy, just sideways rangy for the entire history, really. I do not like the way that looks. Like, so we made a low on the daily. I guess you could call that a fiver. This looks a little bit more three-wave corrective to me. But you didn't come take your lows, so that could be... Oh, I would be careful with this because we got so close to taking out these lows here with this guy. And this does look like a three-wave move, so this could be like a complex corrective move on the daily where we're going to see one more three-wave corrective move and then a dump. But I mean, that weekly at 160. We've already broken our golden pocket. Yeah. So that's pretty... We front ran the golden pocket last time on the last big daily high, so we're coming up into that golden pocket now. So be aware you're at resistance. But if you break that, you're going to go up to that 786. Actually, weekly's even higher than that. So money flow looks pretty good on the daily. Actually, yeah, and we did just print a hidden bull div signal a couple days ago here. I think this does look like it could continue up here. Weekly's about to cross over into the green here, and on NAMI it's already crossed over into the green. Okay, yeah, and we're getting close to the value area high. It's right above us here of this bigger weekly range. And the reason why I'm pulling it from this low is, look at this, does look like a pretty clear impulse down here. Impulse down, and so this all is impulsive structure. So right after that impulse finishes on the weekly, now we have, you know, look at this, looks like a three-wave weekly corrective move, and then now we're continuing just this sideways range. So that's this volume profile is what I'd kind of be looking at. Value area high is just above this golden pocket, so you might want to watch out for the fake out. And yeah, honestly, guys, there's not a lot here. Like, I don't know if I'd really like trading this thing. This daily down here near your POC, and that POC is going to be important. You also have a daily here, but wow. Yeah, we're at the golden pocket right now, so be aware we could stall out here, but if we start to close daily candles above this, value area high and weekly are really what I'm interested in, not so much the 786. Yeah, we're at the macro, kind of the macro area right now, because you can see on the monthly, on our last huge monthly swing high to our monthly swing low here, we're at our macro golden pocket at 133, pretty much 132, 133. That's also our lower high golden pocket. So this area is very key. And if we break above 133, that 160 to 164, because that's your macro 786 in confluence with the weekly. But we're at the key resistance right now, guys. It's honestly not looking too bad, though. And if we look at this range, 116, okay. If we reject from this macro golden pocket area, watching that move down to 116, I bet you that is going to be, let's go from the range lows. To your current highs. I don't like where that golden pocket's ending up. But if we just look at this impulse here. No, that's not good enough. Well, it looks kind of bullish right now as far as, like, we're not really rejecting from this macro golden pocket area, but this is an area where you would also expect to form a bit of a range in here. So just be aware of that. And maybe even a peak above it to hit into that value area high, creating that head and shoulders type pattern. I know already on the hourly we're kind of seeing a possible head and shoulders in the making, but a bigger one, you know, like range for a bit in here, create that left shoulder, come up, hit into the value area high, come back into the range, and see that topping pattern. Because it is a macro golden pocket. Thank you, Archie. I appreciate that, man. Okay, guys, I'm going to look at metal for just a couple minutes, and then I do got to get out of here. Metal USD. Okay, and I'm just going to go on to my other chart. Yeah, Bitcoin, I still have not got stopped out on that short position on Bitcoin. Ooh, dude, I don't know what this is, but this does look pump and dumpy like crazy. Honestly, I would be very careful of these coins. Massive pump followed by a massive dump, and you're pretty much at all-time lows here. Money flow coming out on the weekly, hidden bear div on that lower high. This does not look good to me, honestly. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, okay. Let's see. Is it... It's on MEXC. Okay, let's see. Metal. Is it USD or USDT? This one? I think this one's looking different. And honestly, weekly, this does look like a nice rounded bottom here. Did we break that high? Yeah, we broke. So weekly, even though it's just a wick, we're starting to break market structure bullishly on the weekly. And here's the thing, guys. There is nothing else in here. I mean, that's a big, if we start to close weekly candles above this 30-cent high, you could run again. You could really run again up to this area. I know nothing about this coin, so I don't know fundamentals. I don't know if it's actual project or if it's just a meme. But look at, this is also your accumulation range down here, I would say. And you're breaking out of this. Actually, very nicely, look at this. So, breaking out of it, if we just extend this value area high here, you can see that's where the value area high is. So, you had your accumulation range, break out of it, back tested as support, and now we're breaking to new highs. So, that looks very nice to me as far as that goes. Accumulation, breaking out, back test, push up. Now expansion could continue here. And yeah, weekly is topping out though. Looking a little bit toppy here. Two-day money flow looks bullish though. That is nice. And it's starting to curl back up on NAMI. Wow. No, this does look like it could be like a bull pennant in the making. Now, this doesn't look mature enough yet, but if you see something like this happen over the next weeks, because remember, above these highs, there's nothing. So absolutely, if this kind of chops for a bit and then you start to break it up, there is nothing above that can keep this thing from running. There's no real resistance up there. Like in this, look at that. Nothing in here. Maybe that high at 36 cents. Yeah, we are printing some local bear divs in this last little grindy bit here on NAMI. And money flow starting to drain out. Now, this looks pretty low liquidity. That's why there's all these wicks here like this, but yeah, okay. Nice pitchfork here. Skiff pitchfork. You can see the band was acting as resistance here. Multiple tries. Got to the upper part of the band and then back tested the lower part. Pushed up above it. Back tested lower. Back tested lower. Back tested the lower part of the band. Broke above it. We did find a couple days of resistance at the midline. But overall, flipped it, broke it above, and we're at the upper band now. So be aware that just like we formed a bit of a range in the band here and kind of rejected a bit the first time we came into the band here, you could see that same kind of thing here. A little bit of a range here before continuing to break up or break it down. So I would be expecting some rangey type price action on this thing. And you are at a more macro resistance, grabbing the liquidity from your last major daily highs into your pitchfork band of resistance. But this is definitely like a continuation triangle thing forming here. Let me check it from this high. I'm just going to disregard that wick. Something like that, or even, you know, that's probably a little too steep there for me, yeah. This was some pretty bad bear divs coming into here. Higher highs through all of this. Lower highs through all of this. And now your money flow is consistently draining out. So be aware that this could break down based off of this bear div. This multiple drives of bear div. Oftentimes with these triangles, you see a bunch of people looking to long the breakout, and they end up getting wrecked. So what I would be looking at is pulling a fib from your high to your low afterwards. And that golden pocket there, let me make sure that's not a log golden pocket. Yeah, that golden pocket is actually really nice because you can see the internal liquidity there. So be aware if you reject, if you see a fake out of the triangle into that 28.5 really, and reject from that 28.5 area, you could see a bigger move down after that to come take out the lows. And actually, I would even be looking at these lows here. Overall, though, it doesn't look that bad. Honestly, we're at the major pitchfork band of resistance, and we did SFP a couple days ago. What was that? Thursday. So it could absolutely pull back. And this looks low liquidity. Look at all these wicks that you see. I would be very careful trading this. But if you're spot buying this, I definitely wouldn't spot buy right now because we're at resistance. If you pull back to that 17 to 18 cent area, could be a really nice long. Really nice spot buy. Yeah, I mean, that area is going to be a really nice spot buy. $236. Okay, let's do this. Yep, that's your general area. So the reason why I did that, our non-log golden pocket was aligning with this midline. Well, first of all, we're on log scale, but if we're looking at this as a wave 1, a wave 2, and then this is a wave 3, then your wave 4 pulls back between the 382 and the 0.5. So if we're going to pull back over the next few weeks here in a wave 4, that general area, 19 to 17 cents, and then you could see a 5 up to, 42 cents, 43 cents, and that could be your 5-wave impulse on the daily. So that's generally what I would be interested down here, nowhere else though, because we're at the macro band resistance, upper band of the pitchfork up here, and and we SFP'd the highs. Just consolidating at resistance. We SFP'd the highs already. And so I would be personally only interested if we came down here. And then if we did that, I mean, let's just do a little experiment here. Here. Yeah, generally looking to come up to, around the top of the pitchfork band. Okay, guys, I really do got to go. I know that, let's see, that one looks way better. Yeah, that one does look way better. Frank, I got to go today, but if you come in on Thursday, I absolutely will check that for you, and we'll do it towards the beginning of the stream. So thank you guys all for joining so much. If you got anything out of this video, please like the video, please subscribe. We do have a couple sponsors of the channel, BYDFI. They're doing the Telegram with me. If you deposit $100, you can get access to a Telegram group that I post some trade setups in, and you get a $50 deposit bonus. They're offering discounts on trading fees and up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses. We have MEXC. They're doing if you deposit $100, you get $20 free, and then you can earn up to $300 just for trading futures. And NAMI is the other one. NAMI's running a 50% off special. If you're interested in purchasing NAMI, the link is in the description and the discount code is in the description. And then lastly, I am now partnered with Bybit as well, and link is in the description for Bybit. They're offering up to $30,000 in different futures trading bonus challenges. So thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you Thursday in a live stream, but tomorrow I will make a video. And thank you, R Pink, and thank you, Mark.